Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Poppy in the jungle. And you may notice something a little different about this Poppy game. So Falcon actually sent me two mystery gifts. One was Gangster Twitch, and the other one was what you see before you, Blacksmith Poppy. Anyway, if you take a look at the time of this video, you will probably notice that it's another brief game. Anyway, lane matchups, we have Ashe and Sona against Twitch, and I can't see who the other one is. This is post-commentary. Poppy in the jungle against Rengar. Yeah, you'll get your opportunity to see everyone. But, as I was trying to say, my Poppy games never actually seem to last that long for some reason. This is the third one in a row, I believe, that's around 25 minutes. And as for this, I'm pretty upset that Cat is just sitting mid, guarding the tower. During Select, she was so pissed off that in the previous game her jungler sucked, etc., etc. Even if you're melee, you should still stand guard to stop crap like that. And our guys are still getting shot over there. As a result, they aren't going to... Well, Ashe goes back a little premature, but we have Nivea right there. Basically, there's no effort made on her part to try to show any sort of solidarity, defense, anything like that, and as a result, I can't actually get a leash here. Basically, that means you're not actually going to see me do a gank until the second round of buffs. And right here, I'm pointing out the Cat. She was upset about the jungler, and she's just as bad, if not worse. Anyway, I went ahead and started with the W because I need the AD and the armor to speed this up slightly. I am running attack speed stuff, so I get a somewhat of a decent return on the 15 AD at full stacks. Right there, she seems to have forgotten her whole... Right here, I'm making my guard the tower comment so no one steals it. But she forgot everything she said before the game started. Anyway, there's not really too much I can do mid for Cat. And to make things worse, Garen is so tanky that it's just a pain in the ass to try to deal with him. Fiora might be able to do something, but like I said, I didn't get a leash, so that means I can't do anything at level 3. And if you're wondering about the ping, I did do this during the maintenance for the Blade of the Rune King exploit, so yeah, I kinda knew what I was getting myself into going into this. Well, I still haven't been impressed with the quality of the servers lately. This one isn't entirely on Riot's fault. But on the other hand, the other ones pretty much are. And I even played a game with Ashe that kind of felt like the Infinite Crisis games I had last week before they did their maintenance, where people are just dropping in and out all day. Anyway, to get back on the topic of the game, I can go over how Poppy works. Your passive is basically a form of damage mitigation. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but when you take damage that exceeds 10% of your current health, it's reduced by half. Fiora got first blood on Rengar, but sadly she dies to Garen. But the way your passive works is it will work on physical and magic damage, not true damage, sadly, so you don't get any mercy from Ignite or not true. Ignite, Silver Bolts, Feast, Noxian Guillotine, your true damage moves you get no mercy from. As for your Q, it's an auto attack reset. It has a decent base damage, it has 1-to-1 AD scaling, it's magic damage, which is even cooler, and in addition to the flat damage it does, it's a % HP shred. And in terms of how Poppy plays, it's actually her most economical move, and if that were changed, she probably wouldn't really be playable, sadly. Due to the 1-to-1 AD ratio, I am going to be maxing that first, and I am going to be building AD, the Elder Lizard in particular. So as a result, you can... Nice thing about Poppy is the mixed damage you can deal. Right here I don't have the health for the white, so I just back off and go ahead and go shopping. But you can build AD so your auto attacks and your W actually synergize that way. Meanwhile, your Q and your E are forms of magic damage, so itemizing is a little tricky. Poppy does a good mix of mixed damage. And once again, the lack of leash just came back to bite the bot lane. It's not their fault because Nivea made a show. If they actually didn't force her out, there is a possibility the enemy could have came in through the tri-brush to invade my red. So, I can't really blame them, but I can blame mid. As for this, right here, I'm just trying to actually measure out my mana to figure out, can I really justify using my E for the clear? And not really, I don't get enough back with just the Spirit Stone and one longsword. Anyway, picking up where I left off, your W has two parts to it. The first is it has stacks that accumulate when you deal damage or take damage. The stacks themselves scale with the rank of the move. They start out at 1.5 per stack and max at something like, I don't know if it's 3.5 or what. I should probably look this up. But the key thing is it gives you armor and AD. The AD, which in turn synergizes with your Q, and the armor just makes you even tankier. Active effect is it gives you max stacks, all 10, and it also gives you surge movement speed, so you can actually chase someone down. Sadly, the cost is a little high, so you can't really spam that without going out of mana. Your E is Heroic Charge. This is one of Poppy's signature moves. Right there you got to see a lag spike, so I couldn't make it top lane, but I wouldn't have made it anyway. Cat killed Kennen, and the buffs are going to be coming up shortly, so I will be starting to take a more active role. But for your Heroic Charge, it's basically a melee version of Vayne's Condemn. So you deal some magic damage up front, and then if you actually manage to drive the enemy into some form of terrain, a wall, a tower, etc., you will stun them and actually double the damage dealt. But once again, it's a pretty expensive move, so use it sparingly. Finally, your ult is Diplomatic Immunity, one of the things that Poppy is really known for. You choose a target, and that target is the only one who can hurt you, and I also believe CC you. So usually you want to drop that on the support, but unfortunately I have support Articuno down there, so she can kite me decently. I went ahead and picked up the boots. I grabbed the pink ward for my usual trick. Here, I think Sona gets a double. She does kill Ezreal, and she got him to burn his flash, but she flashed as well. As for Articuno, she's out of mana, so Sona could force the issue, but we don't have eyes on Rengar at the moment, I believe, so doing so would not actually be that wise of a move. Anyway, you can see that the second round of clear isn't actually the greatest because you still don't have cooldowns or damage, and the camps are decently tanky. But due to the amount of wards I've had get picked off in the river brush, I've started moving them over here because they still give you some vision. It's probably the next best place since people are figuring out, hey, I better face check these. Next thing to mention is there was something I wanted to mention, but now that I can't remember it. Anyway, as for this, you can see that Garen is actually doing pretty well against Fiora. As a result, he's actually getting tankier and tankier, and my options against him are getting a little limited. Right here, I kind of want to try to loop behind and do something, but we are going to run into a small bit of interference. Sadly, I just missed Rengar here. He's at the double golem camp, heading the same way as me, as you can tell by his ward. So, for some reason, he figured, hey, I'll jump on the Yordle. What's the worst that could happen? So, right there, I burned Diplomatic Immunity to make me immune to Garen, and it also amplifies the damage that I do to Rengar. And due to the level up, I get to walk away from Garen, and Rengar gets set back, and I get to walk away with refreshed double buffs. And we can also play an extension of a game I played when I last jungled Cho'Gath. So that time I was asking you to count how many times I killed Brand. This time, count how many times I kill Rengar. So that was number 1. And right here I'm weighing my options, trying to figure out what I should do, and I figure I'm probably going to have more than 580 gold for the Lizard when I come back. So I'll pick up an extra longsword, that way I get the better return on my Q. I can probably pick up a kill somewhere, which will actually give me about half the gold I actually need. As for that, my thinking wasn't really that bad, it's just, well, you'll see. So, 3 longswords. I can only imagine Poppy's carrying the third one in her teeth or something. But I don't really have much opportunity at the moment. The bot lane is pushing in, you can see cats roaming down. There's Garen. I think I'm actually going to try to do something here, but I'm kind of wasting my time. He's actually reached the point with the kills that he's got that Fiora and I both on him can not quite hurt him. So, this is my last attempt to try to do something top. Here I realize with his movement speed, mine, they kind of balance out, so I can't actually catch him. As a result, I'm better off trying to focus on the other lanes and do something there. So right there, Anivia burned her passive. Ez and Ashe are kind of low on health. And right here I'm just trying to keep my level up. Ping. Like I said, this was during maintenance, so I knew what I was getting into when I actually queued up for it. It's just I wasn't quite expecting it to be this bad. Anyway, Ez is low, Rengar's there, Anivia is burning through her mana. Ashe doesn't have Crystal Arrow, sadly, but I figure I can probably blow someone up and then just walk out. Hey, Ez. And right here you get to see how glitchy his blink is. So I ulted Arcticuno there to try to give me immunity to Rengar's damage. I ended up eating Nivea's damage. And right here I shoved Rengar into the tower, hoping that the tower shot would kill him. But I guess Ashe got a lucky crit or something there, and he died to that instead. Anyway, a kill for Ashe. We're not actually counting that on my total because that wasn't my kill. An assist is different from a kill. Right here I'm actually looking at my gold, and you can see that I'm just a little bit short. So I was kind of close. I did get the assist, but I had to share some of that gold with Sona, and as a result I have to wait a little while longer and take the Wraith Camp. Anyway, the game is now about 60% complete, and we are going to start picking up the pace in a moment. With those down, I can go pick up my lizard, and yeah, I think I just get the lizard here. There isn't really anything else to buy. Just gonna wait for my health and mana, try to figure out where's the best place to gank. Red buff should be coming up shortly. You can see the timer in the top left. In less than 10 seconds, I can pick that up and then potentially pay a visit bot. But sad, okay, it's dragon time, I guess. We do need Ashe's help for that. Sona went over there and checked it out, but it's a little early for that, like I thought. Okay, that's Cat that's there. So right here I'm actually keeping an eye on the bot lane. I want to keep my farm up as I go from place to place. It's just, I want to be in the area in case Ezreal and Anivia overcommit. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was how glitchy Ezreal's blink is. Even though you connect with a targeted move, you can land skill shots and stuff, and as a result of just how it's set up, he will still get out of it. I've seen him dodge Blitzcrank pulls despite being actually connected to with the fist because of it, and I really don't know what Riot plans on doing to try to fix that. I know Skarner had his ult changed a little bit to try to address that, but is Skarner the only one getting that treatment? Anyway, you see Ez died to Sona. Right here, my hands are tied for Garen, but I can just make everyone else suffer. And if you're wondering, that's pretty much how this is all going to play out. Now it's dragon time. Basically, Garen can't really carry a game on his own. And to make things worse for him, once I get my Blade of the Rune King, my Sheen, and just a decent amount of AD for my Q, I think it's called Devastating Blow now that I think about it, I can actually take a decent-sized piece out of him. And right here, I believe, is when I will give up my first death. Will it be my only one? Only time will tell. So, Kennen was handy, and that stun right there stopped me from ulting Rengar and then just flat out killing the Yordle. As a result, Ashe kills him and gets my double buffs, and then Rengar dies to Cat getting his. So in a moment I'm going to point out that my team just got both sets of double buffs, as I'm now pointing out. Sadly, Cat can't really benefit from the mana regen on the blue buff, but she can definitely use the CDR. As for this, I notice I have almost enough gold exactly for the Sheen. So, must be Providence or something. I go ahead and move the Elder Lizard to a different slot because I'm anticipating that slot for my Cutlass once I finally get it. But after that brief little skirmish, Cat takes the mid tower, and it kind of sucks for the bot lane right now because Ashe has a red buff to slow on her auto attack, she has her frost arrow to once again slow, and she has a blue buff so she can actually keep firing those frost arrows without actually losing any mana. Kinda sucks to be Ez right now, don't you think? Or Nivea in this case, and the crystal arrow whiffed. But that was pretty much what I was getting at. As for this, Kennen just warded the brush, but I've realized Rengar's gotta be over here somewhere. And if you look at the minimap, there he is. Sadly, I don't have my ult to do a tower dive, but wave is close, as is low, and Rengar doesn't know I'm here, so taste the wall, Cat. Sadly, he didn't quite actually contact with it, but he took enough damage. Right there, Ashe slowed, I popped Ghost, and boom! Kill number 2 to the Cat. And the game is now 80% complete. So you'll have to wonder, what can I do in the remaining 3 minutes? Anyway, we take the tower. I noticed Sona was in a little bit of danger here, but I didn't actually know if they really needed my help. I wasn't sure if Ashe was going to get that, so I tried to walk alongside Anivio with Sona for a little while. And I took it even though Ashe actually could have secured it. As for Kennen, too close to the wall, so boom. I ulted him there just in case he was going to try to flash away for the damage amplification to actually secure the kill. And the tower's gone, and check it out. There was Rengar, kill number 3. Now, that wasn't actually my Q that killed him, it was just the heroic charge, so yeah. Anyway, Ez died, and you can see Garen can have the top lane. Fiora just figures this one's over already, I'll just take the jungle, set them back even further. As for this, there's not really too much I can do at my health, and to be blunt, my solo lane, or my carries are kind of fed, so it's not like they actually need my help. As for this, kiting is a problem. Garen has a slow, if I remember correctly. Rengar has his Bulla, which is both a slow and a snare, depending on how much ferocity he has. Anivia has a crap load of slows, and I didn't really know if that was blue Ez or what, but I figured I'd just play it safe and get boots of swiftness. As for this, Fiora manages to take the tower, ends up giving up her life sadly, but Sona, don't really know what she was thinking there. But I can go ahead and take the red buff, and there is now 1 minute remaining. And if you notice, Garen hasn't died yet. Oh, we're gonna have to fix that, won't we? So here comes the final battle. There's Kennen, there's Ez. I figure I'm gonna loop around this way to try to catch them. I wanted to try to get Ezreal, but you can see the lag made it so that I couldn't slam him into the wall. I still forced his blink, Kennen eats the crystal arrow, and I can just go ahead and blast Kennen. And there's our buddy Garen. And shut down! As for Rengar, right here you'll see the kiting thing that I was worried about. So right there was a slow, I don't know if that's because Ez has red buff or what. There was the actual, I said it a second ago, but the Bulla that will actually snare me. He used the slow one, and Rengar goes down yet again. And as for the poor chicken, I wanted to slam her into the wall, but Cat killed her before she actually got there. As for this, I noticed the wave is pushing towards our tower. No one's really making an effort to try to take these, so hey, free CS for me. I scale extremely well with items. Lane CS, pretty decent. Meanwhile, we get the turret, the inhibitor turret. Kennen kills Cat, and there's the surrender.
Victory!
Okay, a bit of a blowout with Poppy. Can't really think of what else to say. The lag had its moments, but all in all, it didn't actually impact the game. Still pretty annoying, though. Sadly, it looks like this week is going to be full of short games. Hopefully you guys don't mind. Anyway, thoughts and observations will go in the description. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.